No, it's like Bob Ross's hair. Like what if at one point in time he would have just cut his hair and had a normal haircut? Could you imagine? Could you even imagine that?
No, he would have lost the show. The show would not go on.
Yeah, Bob Ross with my haircut would not be.
No, it just doesn't work. The happiness is gone.
You new host for this show?
He's got the fro on the bottom. That's all.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Jason. I'm joined, as usual, by Max, John, Dan, and Scott. Today, we're joined by Trish. Trish, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am from Canada. I'm an actor. I write, I produce, I do stand-up comedy, podcasts, and I'm an aunt. My nieces keep me in check. They ask me things like, how come you're not married? And do you own a house?
Wait a minute. How do you respond to that? Do you go, wait a minute, that's none of your business? Or do you come up with some other whimsical excuse like, well, it's because I'm actually a fairy and I am, what? How do you answer that when he's put you on the spot?
I usually answer with some bumbling, ridiculous life lesson. Like, you can be whoever you want to be. And when you're old, like Auntie, you don't have to be married. You can take whatever path you choose. And then my 7-year-old niece will be like, well, I'm going to be a radiologist and I'm going to go to medical school. And I'm like, yes, you do that. You do that.
Whenever they throw you one of those curveball questions, just be like a boss, and then you walk away.
Yeah. How come you're not married? Boom. Walk away.
What's your problem? But you have to disengage right then.
Disengage, walk away. I'm gonna try.
Trish, I think that the one project I really want to talk about, because I have to be 100% honest. It was fantastic. I'd like you to tell the listeners a little bit about my roommates in Escort.
Oh, you watched it. Yay.
I'm going to fanboy the crap out of this one.
Look. Here's the honest to God's truth. This is the honest to God's truth. Doing research. I'm like, okay, this is a web series. I'll watch a couple of episodes, because that's usually what I do to get a flavor of it.
That's
an hour later, I'm texting these guys going, dude, this is really hilarious. This is the shit, man, right here. This is great. So I'm just kissing up and saying I thoroughly enjoyed my roommates.
Oh, awesome. That's so good to hear. Yeah, I was a co-creator on that with Katie Ullman, and it was, we did 2 seasons over probably, I'm going to say, 3 or 4 years in total from us writing the show together and then shooting the first season and then being optioned for a TV series, but then going back to web series format and getting the funding. Yeah, it was a big process, but a lot of fun. I love comedy, so that was a great way to get kind of rolling in the comedy world.
I thoroughly enjoyed the kind of the interaction between Heather and Kesha, and how, like, especially in season 1, total opposite ends of the spectrum. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Sam's tattoo.
Oh yes, yeah.
that was a great storyline as well.
Yeah, that's never happened to me in real life, but I can't imagine. I don't know how I would react to that. And yeah, that's a bizarre thing to do to a girl you're trying to impress.
I kind of liked it how it was an ongoing joke too. Through the entire episode after episode, it continued to come back kind of Naked Gun-like, or just kept coming back as a joke. Did you have any funny tales from behind the scenes while making My Roommates in Escort?
That's a good question. I mean, I was sleeping on Katie's couch, and because we filmed the apartment scenes in the first season at her place, and she had roommates, and I remember when we were like trying to shoot, they'd suddenly be showering, or when I was sleeping at 4 a.m, they were like cooking like a full-blown like 5-course meal, and I remember just waking up like, what is going on? We had to get up at like 5 a.m. to shoot. There's always definitely, filming just always seems to be such a blur because it happens so fast because you schedule so many things. In the first season when I was crying on the bike, that was my actual bicycle. So that was kind of fun to just go around. It was just Katie, myself, and the editor at the time, and he put like a little camera on my bike on the wheel or something, and we rode around town, and I was crying in the streets in Toronto. So that was a lot of fun too, doing that, shooting the bicycle stuff. I liked that for some reason because I like biking, and it was my bike, so it just kind of mirrored real life, me crying riding around on my bicycle. That's kind of a regular everyday occurrence in my life, so that was fun.
Oh no.
I was like, this is too real.
All right. Hopefully you got everything worked out though.
Yeah.
It's great therapy, man. It's great therapy.
Yeah, I sometimes people just need a good cry on a bike, and if you can catch that on film, that.
Exactly. If people will watch that and think it's comedy, then even better.
It's better than better for you than crying on the toilet or in the shower.
Yeah, apparently
I like to cry in the shower.
Apparently
shower
apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, who cries on the toilet, Jason? What? Who cries
That's
on the
personal
toilet?
experience talking. That's personal experience
You
talking.
just have a bad day and you want to sit down. I'm not talking about.
But I mean, like the toilet is really like one of the only places where you can just be truly alone. Like if you know that there's like, even if there's other people around, once they hear that seat go down, they're like, okay, I'm not going anywhere near that. And
like you can get it as far away as possible. So that is a great time to cry.
I mean, if you have to.
Okay. All right.
It's the only private place you've got when somebody else is cooking a 5-course meal in the kitchen at 4 a.m.
And when you got 3 kids running around.
No, because at 4 a.m, when you're trying to get the last bit of sleep because you have to film at 5, and there's somebody cooking a 4-course meal in the kitchen, that's when somebody's also in the shower, because that's how life would work.
Exactly. And then season 2, we shot a lot of it at my mom's house. And there was always something going on. I'd have to be like, Mom, knock it off. We're shooting a show here.
I mean,
jeez, what are you doing going about your life? Don't you know we have a show to make?
So wasn't season 2 shot in Sault Ste. Marie?
Yeah, that was shot up. That's my hometown.
Is there like a film community in Sault Ste. Marie like there is in Toronto or Vancouver or other parts of Canada?
Yeah, there is a film community here. Right now I'm working with some partners on setting up a film studio, and we have a really great film program at the college, and it's very hands-on. So a lot of really talented filmmakers have come out of the Sault College program. So now I've applied for some funding to shoot. I started a company up here with producing partner Rebecca Herron about a year ago, and now we've applied for about 4 feature films and 2 web series to shoot up here. And then we've gained some additional funding for some of the projects, and we hope to shoot a horror film, a feature film, as early as August this year. Maybe that's something that we're just kind of throwing around, that we thought we would shoot it next year, but now we're thinking we might almost want to just, like, if we can get back to work with a really small crew, because things seem to be, we're in like phase 2 here, I think it is. Anyways,
lucky.
Filming seems to be resuming here in the city's given the okay, as long as it's a smaller crew. So we might just kind of push some things forward that we thought we had pushed back, but it's all up in the air. So we'll see. But we do have plans to shoot the majority of our projects in Sault Ste. Marie. And I think she's going to actually move up here from Toronto as well and get a place here. So exciting things are on the, but a lot of things, actually, I was in a film called Hammer, that's doing really well. It got a really great review from Roger Ebert, and it released in the States a couple weeks ago, and then in Canada last week, and it was filmed in the Sioux.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
And so is the horror film The Void.
It's pretty sad, Max, by the way, that we're like, oh man, we're so lucky. Your COVID cases are really low. Ours is almost bordering on insanity. And
I wasn't trying to draw too much attention to it. I'm just slightly jealous that apparently the general community around you has enough common sense to drop you to phase 2, and I can't get 10 people to wear a mask outside. I'm not gonna get into it.
Where are you guys all located?
Columbus,
we're here in Ohio. Yeah, it's just stupid. People are just dumb, and
Yeah.
there's an American arrogance that is going counteractive to like general public safety, and that's really the problem we're having here.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a. I think. Did you guys shut down for about like? Did everyone Did everyone stay home for a good month?
Yeah,
in March?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks to like a month. And then everything started to. They're like, oh, well, it's looking so good. We can do it. And they put out guidelines, and then nobody actually even followed them. They're like, because if everyone would have actually followed the guidelines, it wouldn't have been that bad. They'd be like, yeah, we're doing good enough. We can get started. And
yeah.
It's all gone back. We've taken 4 steps back.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's it's how it is.
I went to the grocery store yesterday, and people were wearing their masks to cover their beards like nothing else. Like their mask is right here.
Just on their beard.
Yeah.
Why wear a mask if you're gonna pull it down?
I can't have COVID in my beard though. Like,
yeah, beards are very sacred.
I don't mind getting it in my mouth. I can brush my teeth, but like the beard is kind of awkward to clean.
That's where all the crumbs go. I mean,
right? Like I need to eat out of there. It's got to stay.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the beard.
So, what's it like working on a horror movie?
Horror movies are my favorite. I was just telling my brother-in-law the other day. I was telling him, I don't know why I was telling my brother-in-law this, but he was with my sister, and I'm telling them a story about how when I got cast in this one vampire show, and the vampire like rips my skin off, I had to go to a special effects studio, and you get naked, and then they slather this like goo all over your body, and then they make like a paper mache mold of your exact body, and then they take that paper mache or whatever it is, it looked like paper mache to me, they probably have an official term, they take this mold of your body, and then they can make fake skin that has like blood and guts kind of hanging out of it and veins popping out, and when you get to set, they like paint and glue that fake skin onto you so it fits your body perfectly, and it looks like it's your skin, and your tendons are sticking out. And my brother-in-law was like, back up. There's a job where you can, this sounds really sick. This is like really inappropriate. There's a job where you get to like apply goo to people, like naked people.
Yeah.
And he's like, why did I not take that path in life?
I feel like he might have been too awkward about it, because you have to, oh no.
Oh, God.
You have to have a certain kind of cool to get the job as the goo applier.
There's just so much more to it. They're like such artists, but the whole process, like when you think back on it, it's weird to do that as an actress, but it was so much fun. Like usually that should be the most awkward situation of life, but it wasn't, because they make you feel so comfortable, and you get to see like you're sitting there in a chair and there's hanging dead bodies all around you, and you're like, my body is going to be one of those bodies. Like how the art, just the skill that they have is so incredible. And I love that. I love the special effects. I love to be a small part of it. I love to watch the process of how it's done from start to finish. So then you get to set and you have this fake skin, and then you see it on TV and you see how creepy it looks, but you know exactly how it was made. And I think that's what interests me with horror movies, all the gore and the special effects, and watching how it's done and how it's executed.
And you've done quite a few horror movies. You've done, The Void you mentioned, and V Wars, which was a web series. Correct? Was that web series or TV series? I'm sorry.
That was a Netflix original.
Okay, Netflix original. Yeah. One of your first films was a horror film, Constance.
Oh yeah, Constance. Film that one in my basement.
Well, you know what? I was going to ask about that. There's been a theory that I've heard from many different directors
Yeah.
and writers that when you're going to set up a short film, or any film for that matter, use what you have available to you,
Yeah.
whether it is somebody's apartment or whether it is somebody's car or whatnot. So obviously you follow that train of thought.
Yeah, for a lot of writing, I wrote a horror feature film that we haven't shot yet, but I'll be shooting through 180 Sisterhood Productions with my partner, Rebecca. With my business partner, Rebecca. That one I wrote specifically in mind with a location I had. So our family cabin, it's at the end of a road on a little hill with all these little kind of like sheds, and there's like a sleep house and a shed and another shed. So that one I wrote specifically with that location in mind, so that I know we could shoot this on the cheap with what we have. Other films, sometimes you'll write and not think about locations, and then when you're going to produce it, you're like, wow, we have a lot of locations. How are we going to get these? So sometimes I think as a producer writer, you just write within your means. You write something based on what you know you will be able to execute and shoot. That's the smart way to do it, because then you don't have to spend so much money on locations.
That happens in comic books too, like where the writer's like, and then like this and that happens. The guy's like, I gotta draw this, and
like, how about we cut these few things?
Right.
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, so you just work with what you have. Actually, Constance, so I ended up co-writing it, but I kind of came up with I was living in a basement apartment, and I was having these dreams about this girl haunting me, and there was like a little box in my wall. It looked like one of those milk boxes where people used to, the milkman used to deliver milk on the side of a house, and it was just in the middle of my wall, and there was no way to open it, and behind the wall I didn't know what existed, but I knew that the house ended like way behind that wall. So someone had closed off and renovated and like blocked off an entire room. So I'm like, what is in that wall? And then I was having all these haunted dreams about a girl. And then I'm walking one day down Yonge Street in Toronto, and I look down this alley and I see a hidden cemetery. So I walk through the alley, I walk through the entire cemetery, and I get out to the other end of it, and it backs onto my street, but onto the other side of the street. So the houses on the other side of the street would know about this hidden cemetery, but we didn't know about it. So then I go home and I do my research, and I found out there were 30,000 bodies buried there just across the street, and it was all enclosed in downtown Toronto on like Avenue Road and Yonge Street, and they had built all these condos around it. So then I said to my roommate, Rebecca, who's also a co-writer and in the film, I said, we have to write this into a film and like shoot it here, because this is insane. How is there 30,000 graves on the next street?
That's like straight out of Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So then we wrote Constance and we shot it, and we were the two actors in it. And then weirdly enough, the two of us both also got cast around that time, I think a couple weeks later, in Paranormal Survivor, which is on Netflix now. And she played the medium, and I play this woman, Regina, whose house is being haunted. So then 2 weeks later, we got to be on that show together. And now I hear from people all the time that it plays on Netflix. So that was kind of cool to do those two little projects back to back together.
Since you've been in horror movies, do you find it's hard to go back and watch horror movies?
I am terrified watching them, and I watched a lot of them growing up, and I feel like that's the reason I didn't sleep as a child. So now I find some like sweet relief in knowing that how they're made and knowing that they're kind of fake. But like also the ones that scare me the most are ones that could actually happen. Because some of them I'm like watching and I know it's fake because I know people made this into a movie, but it could happen or it has happened, and that scares the crap out of me.
It's one of the reasons I really like Scream. It's because it could happen.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. So you sent me a photo yesterday on Instagram, And you said we could discuss it today. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Yeah. I've never told anyone this. Oh yeah,
Right there.
that's me on the left.
no.
Or yeah, on my left. Across from Osnellis.
Yeah, so tell us what that was like working with
So-
Star Trek.
For like a year of my life, that's how I made my living as an extra on Star Trek. But I didn't tell anyone. This is my phone just dropped again. I don't have my my tripod right now, so I hope that's okay. Is that going to be
Struggle
really?
is real. It's okay.
It's all good.
The constant ghost is haunting me, is coming for me. Knock on wood. Yeah, so for like a year of my life, I did extra work on Star Trek. So I did that short film, the Star Trek short that you just showed the photo of, and like just a bunch of various episodes walking on the ship. But you don't tell people when you're an actor about something you're doing as an extra, because you're like, well, like you don't really want your agent to know, because your agent might want to get you a role on the show. But I never did audition for this show, so it was fine. Yeah, so you kind of keep that hush, 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 hush. So that's like one of my secrets. I didn't even tell the guy I was dating at the time. I just like hop on my bike and go to work and be like, bye, I'm off to work. And
Yeah, I told the guys yesterday. I said, she's giving us an exclusive. She said she'd talk about this. She's never talked about it before.
yeah, and then I'd go and I'd put on my suit, my boots, and we'd all hang out. And it was actually like a really good time. I try to read lots on the like behind the scenes, but it was so dark in there where they had in this, because they have like the ship built in a studio, that it was just, I never got any reading done. But I made some really good friends on that. Some of the people that I got to know I'm still good friends with, and they're like very talented people. So yeah, it was a cool experience. It was really tight. I always felt like I was gonna pop through the uniform after lunch, but
were you like a background like engineer or something, or were you like what was your extra job like? Where like, do they just throw you in when they need a crowd of people, or how did that work?
it was always like I'd be like pretending to like punch things in on a screen in the hallway, and then I'd like walk back and forth, and yeah. If you like got a high five from the director, you'd be like, yeah, I walked really well. I really impressed him.
Did you come up with like a backstory for your extra? I feel like after day 10, I've got to be like, okay, this is, if I'm on Star Wars, I'm Shock Mandrake, and I'm gonna I'm an engineer. So when you're at the screen, you're like, all right, I'm pushing the buttons for the day. I'm maintenance. I got to do this and that. Like, I don't know. Like, did you flesh out your character anymore, or was it just like, hey, it's cool, it's a job. Like, I get to hang out.
I think that every extra on that show is probably thinking, I'm saving this shit from going down. Like, I just pressed that button. This shit is now safe. Like, I think every extra in their head on that show is the hero of that ship.
Well, you weren't wearing red, so that was a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Star Trek or no?
I used to watch it growing up, and then I started this one, Discovery. I started watching it on Crave. So I watched a few episodes and pointed out a few friends and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a classic. I'm not going to say I'm like running around with Spock ears or anything, but yeah, I appreciate it, and I think it's really been kind of a progressive show, and I kind of like the different styles too. That it was campy back in the day, so it's it's a pretty special thing.
Just a few more quick questions, Trish, and then we'll plug social media and everything.
Sure.
Could you tell us about a couple of other projects, Diary of a Danger Child and One Night Stand?
Oh, yeah. So One Night Stand has been doing the festival circuit for a couple of years now. We just won a Vegas Movie Award. That was cool. My mom was not impressed.
Wait,
Mom, guess
what?
We won a Vegas Movie Award this weekend. She's like, cool. Did you make any money from that? And I'm like, it's an award. Like, no. She's like, what's the point? And I'm like, it's an award, Mom, a movie award. So that was good. She pushed me in my place. So then we're working with a distribution company now on having it put onto potentially Amazon Prime. And then, because now it's wrapping up from the film circuit, and I got to go to Italy with that, so that was really cool. I was up for Best Actress. So hopefully soon we'll have an announcement over Instagram or whatever social media platforms about the screening on, or the streaming site that it'll be on. And so that's One Night Stand, starring Matthew Sauvé. And then Diary of a Danger Child. That was an isolation project that I shot under my company 180 Sisterhood.
When I like how you say it's an isolation one, like, well, since I couldn't go out and I'm sitting around the house.
Might as well write a web series. So that one, I feel like it's a good web series kind of concept. So I started writing it as a web series, because sometimes you start writing something and you're like, that's a feature film. That's a feature film. This one just feels like it's web series. So I started writing it as a web series, and it's something that's been in my head for a few years. It's a spoof on public figures, and also people who are just completely unaware and just totally self-involved. So it's a mockumentary and about this woman who thinks she's a public figure, but she has like 200 followers, and she's afraid to go outdoors. So isolation is kind of working for her, because she's been spending her life indoors with her mom and her aunt and uncle, filming this documentary about her life. And they're just kind of all like kind of crappy people, and they're trying to make it look like she's this like hero in this documentary, but she's really kind of a self involved kind of egotistical fame chaser. And she was bred by hippies, so she's kind of aloof. And that I shot. So when we first locked down, I shot that on my cell phone. I shot her in a couple different outfits doing video diaries to her fans online, and then I put that together as the short film and put that in I submitted it to a few festivals, and then they screened the short in festivals. And then I thought, okay, I should write this out into a web series. So the web series will start with her little video diary confessions, and then it'll go into the episode.
All right.
Yeah.
Trish Rainone, I have 2 questions. Pick a number, 1 or 2, and that'll be the last question that I ask.
2.
2. Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, you're in.
And this works on 2 different levels. Is diarrhea a great word?
Yes. It really is.
I thoroughly enjoyed the little video you had on your YouTube channel. Was it Bruce? Was that the gentleman's name?
Bruce Stanfield. I love Bruce. He's so
Talking
fun.
about diarrhea. So.
Oh yeah, we shot a whole bunch of little weird comedy sketches together on our lunch breaks one time. I guess that was last year. We were working on a film, and on lunch I was like, every day, Bruce, you and I were making a comedy sketch. So yeah, he's a funny guy. Diarrhea.
Oh,
Did you guys know that song about diarrhea when you were kids?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Diarrhea.
The paper's gone. Oh yeah.
I love it when it's gross and I eat it on my toast. Diarrhea.
I've never heard this song. I've never heard of
Your
this song.
childhood was clearly lacking.
I had one last question. I know, like we're supposed to be wrapping up. For your stand-up, I've done stand-up exactly one time, and it was so brutal that I've not been able to manage the courage to do it again.
No, do it again. The first time always sucks.
Oh, but no, I think you know, but it was so bad. But how do you like stand-up, and how much do you do it, and like how often do you like to just get out there and do that? Because it's so brave. Like stand-up comedy is the bravest thing like you can do in entertainment, because if you suck, it is so incredibly brutal and like immediately. So like how do you work through that, and how much do you do it?
Oh my gosh. I've been doing it a ton right now because I'm like, now is the time. And it just kind of catches on. You do one show and then someone asks you to do another. But right now I can do it from home. So there's all these Zoom shows, but it's still live streaming on the Facebook or whatever. And sometimes they mute you or they mute all the other comedians because they don't want it to interrupt your set. But then you don't know if anyone's laughing at all. And you think you're bombing every time. But the one good thing is I feel like it, and I used to go out and do it a bit in Toronto in probably early 2009. I went through a little phase. And then it's just something I got back into in March. But it's still scary online doing it over Zoom. And I don't know. I think if you have a really bad show, then you just learn from it and think, okay, well, at least the next show won't be as bad as that one. My very first show ever was really bad. And then just last week, I forgot about a show. It was a Sunday, and I was like, I don't have anything to do today. And in Canada, people give you weed gummies like they're candy. They give them away as gifts because it's legal here, and they're just buying them at a store down the street. So I had one sitting in my room for a while, and I was like, well, it's Sunday. I have nowhere to be. I should just try it. So I ate half of it, and then I got a message, and it was like, hey, Trish, you're on in 2 minutes. For a 10-minute set that I just totally forgot about. And I had done a show a couple nights before, and I'm like, that's weird. They said it was going to be 10 minutes. It was only 5. So I think I just booked a few too many shows that week and got them mixed up and thought I had Sunday free. So then I had to go on, talk just randomly for 10 minutes as if I had prepared a show, which I had not, while I was really high on this weed gummy. And it was muted, so I couldn't hear if anyone was laughing. It was really, really awkward. But then the show following that was a relief. I was like, this is easy. This is so much better. I'm not stoned on a weed gummy. And I've prepared. So I think you have one bad show and you just keep going.
All right, Trish Rainone, could you tell us where we can find you on the interwebs, as the kids say?
At Trish Rainone 1 on Instagram. It's spelled Trish Rain 1, and then I have like a little number 1 at the end. So yeah, just find me on Instagram. I post everything about upcoming stand-up shows and about films that I'm a part of on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's been awesome chatting with you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being on. We're gonna have to have you on again. Yeah, you're awesome. I definitely want to chat with you some more, just about anything. You're totally cool. So
yay!
Oh,
and I hope
bumper?
to see you do stand up.
I might try it again. I'll have to work on some jokes. It took a lot because I hate my own writing, so it took a lot for me to get up there and then to completely. Like, I got 0 laughs the whole time, and, like, even from my friends. I couldn't even get a pity laugh from my friends. And it was,
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was real bad.
We should do it together. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, my goodness.
Is there a recording of this, Max?
Thankfully, no. I was like, you know, in the Joker, when he goes on stage and he's, like, hitting it off, and then he sees how he actually was. Like, I saw how I actually was the whole time.
It's an out-of-body experience.
Yes, no, it was bad. But you know, maybe we'll get back up there someday. But I definitely need to have a product that I try out, you know, on some people before I take it on stage, because it was rough. It was real rough.
Hey Trish, can you stick around for 1 minute?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Guys, have a great day.
Recycle your droids.